I have a book in me. This is my friend, my brother.
Thank you, Kelly and Oliver.
I'm a multi-award winning best-selling author.
If you want to start a new business, I suggest you write the book on it.
God woke me up at 2:30 in the morning and I wrote a book.
Some of you got books already. Some of you got novels already.
The lead generator is the book.
You write a book, you leave a legacy to your children.
And I hope you guys listen to these guys so they know what they're talking about.
What's up, everybody? It's the publisher, Mr. Kelly Cole.
And it's the writing coach, Dr. Oliver T. Reid.
Welcome to Books-N-Brothas podcast. Today we got a special guest. I call him Money Making Mike because he always making money and he dropping the mic. But I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Let's say what's up to people, man. Introduce yourself.
Oh man, thank you guys first and foremost for having me on the podcast. I definitely appreciate it. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mike Nelson. I am a 32-year-old entrepreneur who happens to speak. My main profession is speaking, but I like to say I'm an entrepreneur, coach, minister, and author, of course. And so I'm excited to be able to be here. I absolutely love the work that I do. I get a chance to coach some of the best clients, training them, on how to be able to go in schools and how to get booked, and specifically to be able to travel the country, of course, before the pandemic and speak at schools, colleges, and universities. So yeah, guys, I'm excited to dive in and get started.
Good stuff, man. Thank you so much for being here first and foremost.
Yes, sir.
I came across you first at CAU, of course. Shout out to CAU.
CAU, we in the building.
Big bruh, ET, shouted you out on his podcast, and I was like, yo, that's homeboy. But yeah, give the people a little bit of your backstory. So how did you get started? How did you get into speaking and all of that stuff? A little bit about your calling. So give people a little bit of your backstory.
Yeah, so it's funny because people often ask me, how did you get started speaking? And so it's like kind of a two-part phase. So I remember specifically when I first got exposed, and this is how I knew I was different than most people. There's a stat out there, I think, that says most people have this fear of public speaking. It's like people would rather jump out of an airplane. They would do anything but get up in front of a crowd of people and speak. And so I remember we was at my grandma's church. I must have been maybe and I have the picture on my IG. It was like a throwback Thursday. I might have been maybe between 9 and 11. And so I remember it was grandparents' day. And so we had to get up and share something about our grandparents. And I remember all of the kids that was there. And even the older people, they was nervous, like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. And so typically they kind of had you when you were young, like do it in pairs because kids are afraid to be able to get up and talk in front of people. So I remember I grabbed the mic and I just went for it. And everybody afterwards was like, and everybody was like, oh my God, that was so great. And I was like, can't everybody do this? And so I started to notice from an early age, I kind of have this thing where I talk and people listen and it can kind of captivate people. And so I didn't do anything with that, of course. So I just was like, okay, I was 9. I really didn't know. And so fast forward to high school, here's how I would do all of my work. I would say, look, especially when we had a group project, I would say, look, you guys do all of the work. You just let me get up and present. I'm not trying to do any of the work. And it will work for a while. So I would get up. I didn't even need to know all of the material. I just needed to know half of it. And when I got half of it, I was like, I got it. And they was like, wait, you don't know the rest. I was like, trust me, I don't need to know the rest. I got it. So I would get up. I would present, of course, that we will always get an A on the presentation side. And I would do it for 10, 15 minutes straight. And the class would be laughing. I would engage them and I would connect it to our project. And so I started to notice I can't put a finger on it, but somehow when I talk, it's just something magical happens. I can't put my finger on it. So fast forward to college, I had a chance to be able to be like a campus tour guide. And so you would get students who would come on the campus and stay and kind of make their choice whether they were going to stay here or not. And so I would kind of, talk them through, the college experience and things like that. And people was like, yo, we don't know who this dude is, but when he graduate, y'all need to hire him because he made me feel so much at home. And so later I got invited to speak at the called the Board of Trustees meeting. They bring in all of the president of the university and all of the big guns, and they have this banquet dinner and they select maybe 3 or 5 students to talk. So I got up, did my thing, I shared my story. And when I got done, the president of the university, he wrote me a personal handwritten note and I talked about my journey being a kid from West Philly. He said in the note, he said the kid from West Philly did an outstanding job. I was like, yo, this same reoccurring thing, it keeps happening. When I get up and talk, it's like magic starts to happen. So I ended up graduating college, and I worked, of course, in admissions. So I worked as a student recruiter, which is prime because you have to get up and talk and sell the school. So I was recruited specifically to be able to recruit African-American students. I went to a predominantly white college, and that's where I got hired from. So we were able to build up the population, and I started just to kind of volunteer at schools and say, you know what? I kind of like this. I like to talk to students. Let's see if I can be able to do this in schools. So I started to like volunteer, and I wrote this big fancy initiative called the Student Success Tour. I'm going to come and provide motivational, educational presentations to your students. Lives is going to be changed. One, when I say one, now where I live at in Philly, the district is I'm talking about, it's like 90 some high schools. One school got back to me, just one. And it was like, yeah, you could come in and do X, Y, Z. So I came in. Obviously, I guess it went well. I crushed it. And before that, you know it, my name started to kind of get spread around in the district. And so from there, I ended up getting fired from my job. And I just was like, you know what? I'm not sure where the speaking thing is going, but I just know that when I talk, it's like magic happens. So let me be intentional and see if I could turn this into some kind of career. So that was about 4 years ago. And I've been full-time ever since. That's the short version of the story. There's a lot of in between, but that's the short version.
So what you got, bro?
Man, I'm loving it. So you just kind of went out, crushed it, and you just kind of just fell into speaking because that's what you automatically do.
Yep.
And so definitely, man, I've been seeing you crush it. I got a chance to look at you, see you out there motivating young people to kind of go after their dreams, man. Tell them a little about that. Now you move from speaking, and now you kind of like, hey, you're helping other speakers do it.
Yeah. So it wasn't something that I was actually trying to do, but people will come to me as, y'all know, when you have an expertise and you think naturally that other people can just do it. You just like, it's not that hard. You get up, you do X, Y, Z, you follow the process. Like, it's not that hard. And then you start to realize and say, wait a minute, everybody can't necessarily do this. Everybody can't write a book. Everybody can't do X, Y, Z. And so I said to myself, I said, you know what? I wouldn't mind doing it, but y'all, when I first started, I was burning myself out because I was doing everybody on a one-on-one basis. I was burning myself out. Conversation after conversation after conversation. I was charging like $97. And I was like, yo, this is just not gonna work. And I remember I met Marquel, and he kind of told me, I told him, some stuff that I was trying to do. We actually spoke at the same event. So, I knew who he was because I knew a couple of people who were in the Client Attraction University family. And so I kind of, knew who he was, and we kind of met and spoke at the same event. And so he was telling me, he was like, I had this idea of I'm gonna go ahead and relaunch my program. And, I'm thinking about charging about $300. And he looked at me and he laughed. I was like, hold up, you just gonna laugh at me? He said, Mike, I'm telling you, he said, for what you know, the people that you've been exposed to, and the people that talk about you, he said, you would be doing yourself a disservice. And so I kind of, just took every single thing. I've been speaking since I was really, really 19, like doing it kind of, on a consistent basis. So I took everything from 19, I just turned 32 last month, and I put it in a course. And I said, okay, here's how you get started, specifically if you're trying to speak in schools, colleges, any educational programs. Here's the system, and here is the format. So, man, it has been a blessing, man, because again, I just had a speaker who told me, again, they joined the program late, and they told me, they said, look, Mike, I haven't been able to speak live yet because of COVID. And they told me, it's like, yo, I just passed the $20,000 mark as far as when it comes to speaking fees. And I was like, let's go. Word. So I enjoy coaching. I get my time back and I'm able to make a lot more because the $97 was just burning me out. So I'm glad that I'm able to take a program, scale it, give it to so many people. And that's the most satisfying thing for me when people come back to me and say, yo, I just got booked and I made my full investment back in one engagement. And I'm like, let's go. But now you have the skill set to be able to do it for the rest of your life. So I absolutely enjoy coaching now, being in this space.
Dope. So when did you write your book, and what's the title of your first book?
Yes, the title of my first book is Yes, You Can, 7 Keys to Student Success. This coming November will mark 5 years I have written that book, and I wrote that book, and it's crazy now because that's my main pool. One of the strategies that I use to be able to get booked. And it's crazy because I just did a speaking engagement at WPBS, and they flew me in. They said, we want you to do the book. And it's crazy because I wrote the book 5 years ago. I had to go back and look at the stuff that's inside of the book because I forgot. I know the outline of it, but the details I forgot because I'm like, yo, I wrote it 5 years ago. So I had to actually go back and kind of, look at it and reread some portions of it. But man, it has been a blessing, man. Having a book has been it has been a blessing, man, because as you know, you could be more of an authority figure in your lane or niche. And then also it builds a credibility. I think the stat says that 97% of people, they go ahead and, they start a book, they never end up completing a book. And so my whole entire thing was, anything I put my hands to do, I got to finish it.
Dope. So the book you wrote 5 years ago got you booked for PBS. Tell the people about that real quick. Let's not skim over that. A book 5 years ago got you booked on PBS.
Yeah.
Like, break that down. Talk about that real quick, because that may go over some people's head.
Yeah. So it's not PBS, it's WPBS. So PBS, which I didn't know, they have all of these affiliates all throughout the country, right? So there are many PBSs, right? So the one I got booked for was in a small place called Watertown, New York. So what happened was, and again, guys, whatever you're doing in life, relationships are key. So my boss, who ended up getting fired before me, he ended up getting a job at WPBS. We always kind of stayed in contact. And so as we're talking, he said, yo, Mike, he said, and I gave him a free copy of the book. And he said, yo, Mike, he said, are you still speaking? I was like, yeah, I'm still out here. He was like, you know what, Mike, the book was so great. He said, here's what I'm going to do. He says, I'm going to go talk to my boss, and we want to be able to put you live on air in front of tens of thousands of students in the upstate New York area and the Canada area. And I was like, look, so typically, and when it comes to business, I'm more so, you got to show me, don't just tell me and talk about it. I'm like, yo, okay. So I didn't get too hype. I was like, all right, well, let's just see how it goes. So he came back maybe about 2 months. He said, yo, they love the book. He said, Mike, we want you to speak from the book. So we want to be able to use the book as a launching pad when we bring you live and set on studio to actually be able to speak. And so that's kind of how it got started. And so, man, it has been a journey, a blessing. I've got so many messages and things. And I'm sure that on the back end, once it gets in publication, I'm sure that it will lead to other things as well.
Go ahead, bro. What you got?
Man, I love it. Because you said something that was so powerful. Talk about this. You gave the book away that yielded results to the tens of thousands of viewers. And I think a lot of times, Kelly and I, we go across, we deal with this podcast, we tell people information. We tell them that the book, Kelly likes to say, is the new business card. So you gave it away. Have you done that? Talk about, was that intentional when you did it? Or was it just something you felt like doing?
Yeah, so it's a mixture of both. So I try to be very, very strategic. So sometimes, God just places it on my heart. Look, you need to be able to get these books away. I remember specifically, I spoke at a school. They didn't buy any books, but they paid me to speak. And so I gave away about 10 books, right? Crazy. I just felt led to do that. And then on the back end, there was a student who was there. He said, Mike, he hit me up maybe 2 years ago. He said, Mike, do you remember me? I was like, no, I'm sorry. I don't. That was so long ago. But once he told me the school, I was like, oh yeah, I remember being there. I was like, hey, how's everything going? He was like, Mike, everything is great. He said, I just wanted to tell you is that when you gave me a copy of your book, it changed my life because I ended up transferring out of that school. And your book single-handedly was the thing that kept me up, and it helped me to be on the right path to actually graduate. So again, I gave it away, not thinking of, and sometimes again, you give stuff away and you don't know what's the return on the investment. As a matter of fact, a lot of times I give stuff away, I don't even look for a return on the investment. I'm just like, look, this is what I feel like doing. So I gave it away to my boss, also my former boss as well. I just thought it was a nice thing to actually do. Now, if we talk business wise, typically what I do is, when somebody's going to bring me into book, typically what it is I'll do, I'll write them a nice message on the inside and I say, hey, I'm going to send you, whether it's the director or principal, I'm going to send you a nice written hand note. I'm going to sign the book and I'm going to send it to you. Or lately with COVID, I can't now. So I have an electronic form and I'll directly send it to them. So it's kind of on two ends. I do it as I felt led, and then I kind of do it as a strategic point for somebody to say, you know what? This dude sent me a free copy of his book. We need to be able to bring him in, and we need to get copies for our students.
Man, hold up, stop the press. Because one of the things that I like to say when I'm coaching and doing whatever is secret sauce. So I'm gonna run that back. You just dropped some secret sauce. You wrote
I got a whole bunch.
He said a handwritten note, which is that secret sauce. You didn't just type it out. You took that time to do that. That's effective. Love it.
Yeah. Write that handwritten note, write it inside the book. Again, it don't always have to be, something that's typed, but again, just giving it that personal touch, because again, people get so many things in our emails. You got to be able to differentiate yourself within the market. And somebody's going to stop and look and say, well, wait a minute, you took the time out of your day to hand write me a nice note. They're like, man, you know what? Again, the whole entire thing with business, you want to make sure that people feel indebted to you. Like, you want to make it seem like, yo, I feel like I owe Mike a favor. Like, yo, I had a principal. This is about 2 weeks ago. She said, Mike, I watch all of your stuff. We have used your stuff on YouTube for free. She said, this was crazy. I've never heard this before. But again, it comes from planting seeds. She said, I got money to burn in my budget before the end of the year, and I want to burn it all with you. What is it that you can do? I said, man, I thought you would never ask. I said, here's what we can do. I said, here's what we can do. We could do this, that, and the third. And again, you got to find ways to be able to slowly but surely differentiate yourself. And then watch on the back end. There's a great person who told me this. They said, amateurs make money on the front end, experts make money on the back end. So planting those seeds, being strategic, giving stuff away, it comes back full circle, at least when you expect it.
Good stuff. So tell the people, we want some more of that sauce. So how can an author use, what's one thing they can do right now to get booked using their book? Kind of like how you did. What's one thing they can do? Say
the last part again.
What's one thing an author can do to use their book to get booked?
So look, I'm about to give you the secret sauce. So it's probably somebody who may be watching this. They like, yo, I don't even have a book. Like, where the heck do I start? I'm about to walk you through real quick, and I'm only going to share this now because Kelly is my guy. So I'm going to share this right now, exclusive, right? So look, here's something that you can do. Now, this principle works if you have a book, and it works if you don't have a book, right? But let's just say that you don't even have a book, right? I'm going to show you and walk you through real quick how that you can be able to actually sell your book without even having a book. Why? How do I know? Because I've done it myself, right? So first book I wrote, Yes, You Can, 7 Keys to Student Success. Number one, the key thing that you need to do is you need to be able to get a title. And you want to be able to get a title, preferably that's going to be able to be the solution to the person or the audience that you're speaking to. So 7 ways how to do X, Y, and Z, so go ahead, pick you a title, right? Now, mind you, you have not written the book yet. Here's, again, I'm talking at a base level. Now, what you can do is go on these 2 websites, either Upwork.com or Fiverr.com. What you can do is you can search on there and you can find somebody who's going to design your book cover. Again, because I hear somebody already saying, well, Mike, I got to write the book. We are not talking about writing the book yet. Follow these steps. So you go on Upwork.com or Fiverr.com. You say you get them to do the cover of your book, right? So after they do the cover, now, guys, this is going to cost you anywhere. And I'm probably exaggerating and going high because I want you to be like, Mike, it was way cheaper. You'll probably pay no more than $100. And that's pushing it, right?
Yep.
So you probably pay that at the most to get a book cover done, right? So after you get that, you're going to contact somebody else on Fiverr and get what we call a landing page. Now, you do not need a full website. Nope. You're going to get a landing page. Landing page may cost you another 20, 30, $40, right? On your landing page, it just basically is going to be information about your book, information about you, what your book is about, and preferably if you can get some reviews, people to write, yo, this book has changed my life. Now, here's a slick way to do that as well, because it's going to be somebody's going to say, well, I haven't written a book yet, right? if you know what's going to be in the book, right? What you can do is give them a small sample. I'm talking about a page and say, hey, could you read this and give me some positive feedback? And guess what they do? They gave you the positive feedback. Now you can put those testimonies on the actual landing page, right? Because guess what? When people go to your landing page or website, they want to see that what you're saying or you're trying to do, it actually works. So that's why you need those testimonials. So you get the landing page, put all that stuff on the landing page, right? Now you just get a link, whatever it's going to be. And now what you do is you go through social media. You put it on all of your social media, right? But you want to make sure that the copy, right? The post that you write, the text that's in the post, you want to make sure that it's endearing to the audience, right? Not just, hey, can y'all go buy my book and support me? No. You want to make sure that the post is actually going to be endearing. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, we give a strong CTA, a strong call to action, meaning, hey, I want you to be able to buy my book now, right? You put it on every single social media platform. I promise you, right? You probably can get a couple of $100 easily. Now, here's my whole thing. I just say price your books at the minimum, unless it's an ebook, if it's a physical copy, $20. That's just my whole thing. Why? Because 20s come out of the vending machine. You ain't trying to do 15 and then people, they make it awkward. I'm like, yo, just say your book is $19.99, right? So after that, you go ahead and you go through all of your contacts in your phone. When I say all of your contacts, I'm not playing. I mean, every single last contact, right? Now, here's something that you can do. I told you, I'm gonna give you all the secret sauce. What you can do is, right? Because again, you don't want to be texting everybody in the group text and everybody's responding back. What you do is you go to your app store, you download this app called Text Groups. It's a blue icon, right? And what it allows you to do is allows you to put, you could put up to 1,000, if I'm not mistaken, right? People in a group, and you could send them a group message, right? And it seems like it only came specifically from you. So when they're responding and you're responding back, it's only between you two, but you sent out a massive, massive group text, right? And in the group text specifically, you want to do the same thing. Hey, Becky. Hey, Sam. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Dr. Reid. Hey, I was curious to know if you would be interested in supporting my book. I'm a first-time author, right? Put the link in there, boom. And before that, you know it, right? You have literally created hundreds to thousands of dollars. Mind you, you have not written this book yet. You have literally created hundreds to thousands of dollars, generated income without actually writing the book. Now, here's what you also do. Tell them that the book is going to be done now. I'm big on this, y'all. It don't take you that long to write a book. It just don't. I know people think that it do, but it just don't. So I'm going to I'm going to give you even a longer stretch. I'm going to say, tell them that the book will be done within 90 days. You literally can get your book done. If you got Kelly and his team, you probably can get your book done in like a couple of days. But I'm going to give you the long route just in case that you got to do it from scratch, from start to finish, right? Tell them that the book will be done in 90 days, right? Now, let's go to the flip side. What you can do also is you can do this with your audience as well. The people that you're trying to get in front and speak to, you can do the same exact thing with your actual audience. So that's how you literally start from nothing. It may have cost you between the landing page, between the link, in between Fiverr and getting the logo. You're talking about under $200 that you spent, that you just created a couple $100 or a couple of $1,000, just like that. And now, here's what you do now on the back end. On the back end, you have those people when COVID is over, obviously, you have them come in to your book signing, right? So you make sure that it's going to be a packed house, right? I'm talking about it just going to be like a packed house. So you go there, you take pictures, right? And you take those pictures, you get a picture of you speaking about the book. We call that the money shot. And you put that on your landing page, and now it endears more people to want to be able to buy your book. And again, you've only put out $200 and you were able to generate thousands of dollars on the back end. Easy peasy.
Bro, fire. Go ahead. What you got, bro?
That's saucy. That's saucy right there, bro. That's really, really saucy. That's sticky sauce, like the barbecue Memphis kind of sauce. What I like not hard. Doing that shows that you broke it down to what's possible. Speaker out there. I wanted to ask this question. Speaker out there, I feel like I got a gift. Somebody said it. What's my next step? I really, people saying that it's good, and I really want to take my speaking to a professional speaking level.
Yep.
What do I need to do?
Let's reverse engineer. We're gonna use the same exact concept I just told you, right? So immediately, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go through your phone, and I actually have a free training on this. You literally are going to go, you're gonna go through your phone, right? And I'm big on this thing called the 6 degrees of separation, which basically states that all of us are 6 or fewer human interaction or connections away from actually knowing each other. Here's how this thing works, y'all. Now, there's a guy named Tim Grover. He's the author of the book called Relentless. He was the personal trainer to Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant, right? Again, 6 degrees of separation. This is how it works. I did a whole entire graduation speech based off of his book. I did like a whole commencement, and I made sure that I put him in the story. Like I added him in my story on IG, right? He responded, and then I put in the story, I was out doing some stuff and I was listening to it, and I put it in the story, and he responded. He said, "Oh man, I'm so thankful that you're reading the book," right? Then it was a quote in the book that he said, I didn't understand. I took a shot in the dark, and I just, hey, what does this mean? He said, "Hey, Mike, this means X, Y, and Z." So he responded, right? Guess what? Now, I would never ask him this, but I'm one connection away from meeting the greatest basketball player in NBA history. Think about that for a minute. I'm one person away from meeting the most famous decorated basketball player in NBA history. It is the same exact thing when it comes to speaking. So here's what I would do. We're going to go through text groups again. You're going to go through your phone, and you're going to text every single person in your phone. Now, the key thing that you want to do is, where most speakers go wrong, is they just say, "I'm trying to speak," right? You want to be able to make sure that there's a mission, something that can be able to endear people to want to be able to help you. So for example, I always say, "I'm on the road to reaching 1 million students. Can you help me?" This is like, yo, this is a mission that I need to be able to help Mike. So you want to do that same concept and go through your phone and text every single last context. Go through text groups, so download it so it's not you texting all these people at once, right? Here's what you're going to get. You're going to get all kind of responses like, "Wait a minute, my cousin is the principal at this. Hold on, my cousin does sit on the board of the blank and blank and blank. Hold on, my baby mom is the," and watch this. All these people, they just don't know what you do. Like, they don't know what you do. So they want to help you. They just have no idea what you do. Mm-hmm. So this is why you have to be clear and communicate exactly what you do. And guess what? This is probably the quickest way of how you probably can land your next speaking gig within the next 30 days. Now, when I say 30 days, I'm not talking about you do it today and you have a gig tomorrow. But in this 30-day window frame, you should be able to put a gig on the board. It could be in next month. It could be 6 months. It could be a year from now. But this is a way that is very grassroots. We ain't talking about paid ads. Very grassroots of how you literally can walk through and be able to book your next gig.
Mike, you're killing them. You're killing them right now. You're killing them right now. He just gave you a formula to writing your book, then taking it from there to getting booked. You could put an entire tour together just using that. That's what you just gave them, Mike. Man. Okay, so we don't want to use up your time. We want to make sure that they give you, that you're able to give your stuff. So talk a little bit about your programs and what you do, and if they want to get more of this, what you've been giving them.
Yeah, so if in fact that you want to say, "Look, Mike, I'm interested in booking, I'm trying to, speak in the education market, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, always looking for speakers, trainers, consultants, coaches." If that's you and you're interested, I want you to go to highpaidspeakinggigs.com, and I want you to go ahead. I'm going to send you a 15-minute free training. It's going to show you how to be able to book your next gig in the next 30 days, of course, right? And then from there, check out the free training. And then from there, we can sit down and schedule a call and see if, this program would actually be a good fit. We are very selective on this side. I'm not trying to work with everybody. I'm only interested in working with people who are serious about, going on ahead and getting their work. And then also feel free to check out my IG. I mean, I'm typically I try to post at least once or twice a week, just some free heat of what you can be able to do to kind of book gigs. If you're on my email list, I just had somebody the other day say, yo, Mike, bruh, like when I get the money, I ain't going to nobody else but you, because the stuff that you give in your email list, right. He was like, yo, I've used this stuff and I've gotten paid and I've parlayed that into multiple gigs. So I can only imagine when I have to invest that level of information, like how much it's going to be able to take off. So again, go to highpaidspeakinggigs.com. We have a 10-week program called Speaking the Education Market. I'm going to show you how to take what you do, right? I'm going to show you how to take your life experiences and how to be able to monetize that and book paid speaking engagements in the education market. Again, I don't want you to sound like Mike Nelson, because they might as well pay. If you want to sound like me, they might as well pay me. But I want to show you how to be able to find your unique voice and be able to book gigs.
What's that social media again?
Yeah. So the website that you can go to is, you can go to highpaidspeakinggigs.com and be able to check out the free training. And then you can connect with me on Instagram. I'm at Mike the Motivator. Facebook, I'm at Mike Nelson. Although there are 50,000, 100 million Mike Nelson, so it may be hard to find me, but I'm the dude that has the glasses and I have this similar profile now. So again, man, I would love to be able to connect with you guys. If you're saying, look, Mike, I want some training. We got free resources for you to be able to help you to get started.
One more question, then I'll pass it to my bro for his final question. This question I get a lot as an author who may hit the Amazon bestsellers list or not. What's a good range for them to start off to set their speaking fee? Like, what's a good speaking fee to start off with?
Yeah, so funny, right? So I have a principal friend. Again, that's why I'm saying, telling y'all, relationships, I promise you, relationships are a different form of currency, not money, relationships, right? So I have a principal friend who hired me, right? And he goes through and he does a training on, different ranges that speakers can actually charge, right? And he told me, this was maybe 2 years ago, he said, look, easy peasy, you could easily get paid $2,500 to $3,000 doing a basic school assembly. Now that's just that, right? So I think it depends on where it is that you are. So here's my baseline. You never, 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 ever, under any circumstance, ask for more money than what you're afraid to ask for. So for example, you like on the phone, you nervous. If you don't feel comfortable saying it, don't ask for it. Because again, here's my big thing. Whatever you're charging, here's just how I operate. You better be able to provide double in value. So for example, if I'm charging $1,000, $2,000, when you get done speaking or I go through your training, I should feel like this program was worth, or this talk was worth $4,000. I should actually feel like I got beat. I should feel like I should give you more money because of the value that it gave. Now, if you're doing corporate is different. Corporate could be $10, $20, $30, $40,000. Like, it is no limits. But I think when you talk about in terms of like the education world, basic school assembly, you're talking about $2-3 grand. Then if you start getting contracts, you're talking about 8, 10, 12, 15 grand. I just had a principal. He told me he hired a person to do a training on financial services with the students, the parents, and the teachers. This person is going to come in 3 times out the whole year. They're going to do it virtually for 1 hour each time. He cut them a check for $10,000.
Wow.
10 grand. Now, this is not on top of it. If I was a coach, I would tell them, look, you need to have a book, you need to have a curriculum so that you can jack it up even more and be able to make multiple streams of income. But guys, I'm telling you, this is why I say speaking and writing a book, not that it's easy, but I just don't know where you can make thousands of dollars for like an hour. Like, you get up and talk for an hour and you can make 2, 3, 4 grand. I just don't know, unless you out there selling drugs, of course. Right. I just don't know where it is that you can be able to kind of make that money and make it fairly quickly.
Wow. What you got, bro?
Love it, man. This is awesome. Question. This is my last question I want to ask.
Go for it.
If you were to write a letter to your future self, what would you include? Like, just from if you were able to go back as a kid and then yourself now on in the future, what would you write yourself?
Oh man, if I could go back, I would tell myself this, and I write this on social media, I promise you, like twice a week. I would tell my younger self now, I would tell my future self now, if I was young, I would say 3 words: stay the course. That's it. And that's basically how I have lived my entire life. Like, look, Mike, it's going to be some trials. There's going to be some tribulations. People are going to die along the way. I know that you want to be able to change the world. I know that you want to be able to talk. I know that the odds are stacked against you. I tell this to everybody, even in my profession, it is a white male dominated industry. Yo, stay the course. People going to tell you no, stay the course. You probably going to fail at a lot of things, stay the course. People going to say, yo, Mike, you whack, you corny, like you ain't this, that, and the third. Stay the course. So my letter to myself, it wouldn't be super deep. Like I just wouldn't. I would just put stay the course. No matter what happens, just make sure that you stay the course.
Love it.
Good stuff, man. Mike, once again, man, thank you for taking the time to be on here. Everybody that's listening, make sure you go to highpaidspeakinggigs.com and get locked in on that free training. Make sure you follow my boy Mike. I am Mike Nelson on IG. And check him out. As you can see, he gave you fire in this short period of time, so you know what he's giving away in his course. And if you get locked in with him, once again, Mike, thank you so much, bro.
All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And remember, whatever you do, 3 words: stay the course. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
For sure. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you're following us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe on YouTube. Share this with somebody. Share this with anybody who has a book, want to get into speaking gigs, don't know where to start. There's a lot of information. Mike just took over the show. He just dropped bombs, gave you the sauce. Make sure you're doing it. Man, before we give you the quote, bro, you got any final words before we give him our quote?
No, man, we're just excited. We got something coming, man. We got Book It Masterclass coming May 1st. So definitely this is a 3-hour all-intensive, everything about writing and publishing, everything, and some bonus sauce. So we're excited. Once again, Mike, appreciate you.
Thank you much.
All right, guys, go get signed up for Book It Masterclass at bookitmasterclass.com. And on that note, we're going to leave with our quote. You don't have to get it right.
Just got to get it going.
All right. See you, Mike. Appreciate you, bro.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Love you, bro.
Love you, man.
If you woke up this morning, it's a blessing. What a wonderful time it is to be alive.
I am happy, healthy, wealthy, whole. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, whole. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, whole. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, whole.
Happy, healthy, wealthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, wealthy, and whole.
I am happy, healthy, wealthy, whole. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, whole. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, whole. I am happy, healthy, wealthy,